Hey, everybody, Off the Mic Sports Network here. Another edition of Off the Top Rope. I touched on this earlier in my big picture Dynamite review. This was a disaster of a show. Um, but we need to address Tony Khan's compulsive need to overcorrect. And it was never more apparent than the no DQ women's tag match that happened in the middle of this show involving Megan Bayne teaming with Penelope Ford to take on Harley Cameron and Anna Jay. That left two women in this match with broken noses. There was a botched finish, a botched doomsday device, which I don't know how you can botch a doomsday device. You're jumping off the top rope to clothesline somebody. It's just, listen, it's just, this has gotten a lot of attention on a night that had a bunch of botches, a bunch of near death experiences. Adam Cole almost had his head decapitated and almost got concussed in the same move. Somehow, a guy who's had some serious concussion issues and had his ankle explode on live television, he averted disaster here. But for the women specifically, this was embarrassing. And some of it's through no fault of these women because they were put in an impossible situation here because you've got two green talent in and you've got two green talent who in Anna Jay and Harley Cameron who are very entertaining together but are just starting out as a tag team. You've got Megan Bayne, a powerhouse, who was literally thrown on the buy-in a month after being in a women's championship match and being unceremoniously tossed aside. And Penelope Ford is there. She's got enough experience, but these two really have a lot of indie experience. And, some of the botches and some of the mistakes in this match were very, injury, mud show, just very preventable stuff. Like you had the Fates descent to the F5 going on a chair that broke Anna Jay's nose. You had Harley Cameron getting thrown into the steps, and really it was a noticeable, her nose pretty much exploded. Like this was a bad broken nose for Harley Cameron. And like I said, Tony Khan's compulsive need, because the internet was freaking out over the fact that Megan Bayne was in a world championship match and now she can't even get on the main show of a pay-per-view. So they had to do this match over again that they literally did 3 days ago on the buy-in. So they do it again on short notice for no reason whatsoever other than, hey, it's no DQs. We can do a bunch of cool bullshit and be reckless and be, not safe, even though we say we're the safest wrestling company in the world. Yet your show's littered with botches. You're putting, inexperienced talent in an impossible position. And it's just, you put your whole company at risk here. And this is just, it's almost like they're trying to force also a women's tag division as well. Because they were heavily leaning into Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander getting back together. So that's the other part of this. It's almost like they're kind of trying to overcompensate for the fact that their women's division has been so hamstrung by the fact that they put all their eggs in the basket for Mercedes Moné and Toni Storm, that they went back into the well again to do something cool with, a hardcore women's extreme stipulation match. And, you got two of your talent hurt. And then you botch the finish. Like, listen, I'm all for women's wrestling, but if you're going to put your talent in a position where there really is nothing to gain, because what was gained out of this? Nothing. There was nothing gained out of this because you did the match at the pay-per-view. Megan Bayne didn't get pinned. Like, the match shouldn't have happened. If you were going to do it, like, you could have had more stakes to it. It was just thrown on the buy-in for no reason whatsoever, just to give these four women something to do. There was something that was being built up between Anna Jay and Harley Cameron. So this was really to give the heels their heat and their win back. And in the process, you have two casualties where basically two women got hurt. Like, when's the last time you saw two broken noses and a botch in the same match? Like, in some way, like, yeah, the talent have to take responsibility for this. But as a booker, if you're Tony Khan, what does this accomplish? You're trying to show off that you care about women's wrestling. So you put the same four women that you put on the pay-per-view, not even on the pay-per-view, basically effectively on free television on YouTube because it was on the buy-in 3 days ago. You do it again. You add a bunch of chairs, a bunch of tables, and a bunch of nonsense in this, and you get a couple people hurt. This is just reckless. It's everything that I hated about them rebooking the Jon Moxley Adam Copeland match because they wanted to do something cool. They rely so much on just overbooking shit and, putting their talent in situations where it's okay, yeah, we got to do the craziest shit so we can get a viral click on the internet. And yeah, you went viral for the completely wrong reason because you want to know the three things that are being talked about the most. Harley Cameron's face exploded. Anna Jay had to walk away with a broken nose. And then Penelope Ford misses the finish of the match. And it looked terrible. Like, this was a mess. This is a mess. And it's in between, some cool looking deathmatch spots, but it's like, what's there to gain out of this? You literally did the match on pay-per-view 3 days ago. And it's just basically what it comes across to as me. It's just, hey, you're trying to show that you care about women's wrestling, even though, three of these women, I mean, I'm trying to think, Penelope Ford might have been in an eliminator. So yeah, all four of these women have mixed it up with the two women who unceremoniously tossed them aside to get to your all-in match. And for the love of God, if I see another hashtag trying to promote this and trying to get Mercedes Moné and Toni Storm into the main event, I love women's wrestling as much as the next guy. That's not the main event of this pay-per-view. Just because you have your two maybe most talented and most recognizable stars, and they're women, and just you want to force that match into the main event, even though you've had so many casualties for this women's division. There's what's the story? Hangman could save AEW. That's the story behind that match. This is not about women's wrestling. This is not about equality. This is about what is the best story that is going to get you to all in. And what I think Tony Khan is trying to do by, making, he might be making women's tag because he's got nothing else better for the rest of this division to do. He's got nothing else. So he's got to resort to doing these, hey, let's make my women look cool and let's put them in deathmatch spots and get some people hurt. And this is coming off the back of a year or so ago where you said you're the safest wrestling company ever. Yet this isn't the first time that this has happened. And on some level, I feel kind of bad for the talent in this match because Anna Jay and Harley Cameron, God bless them, they're really new to this, specifically Harley Cameron, who's very entertaining. Megan Vane is the powerhouse. She was presented prominently early on, lost to Toni Storm, and now she's back to the middle of the pack. Penelope Ford has been a good hand for a while. We don't really know why she's affiliated with Megan Vane. I guess, there's something where people who've, been in a relationship with Joey Janela, they got to stick together. I guess that's the story. For you indie fans out there who know who Joey Janela was, who used to be in AEW, I don't know. He's dating Megan Vane. He used to date Penelope Ford. So that's the best thing that I can come up with. But this didn't need to happen. This was a mess. It's embarrassing. I wish I would be surprised, but I'm not. And again, I just think it's Tony Khan just trying to convince us all that he gives a shit about women's wrestling. He doesn't. If he did, you'd have booked more than one prominent women's match rather than, having Toni Storm and Mercedes Moné, two champions, facing off against each other. Yeah, it's a dream match. You need to do it. So anyway, that's my thought on that. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon.